You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Where were you when you decided to do that?
Well, I opened, like, I got out December 31st. January 1st, I was at it because the whole time I was there, I used to read the USA Today. And in the USA Today, they had a big old one-page ad. Every day I looked in that paper, it said Gateway Computer. And I kept saying, man, I want one of them Gateway computers. I want that. And, you know, my ex-wife kept hearing it. And so either my mom or my ex-wife, but when I got out and I came home, my ex-wife she had one of the bedrooms in the house already set up with an office with that Gateway computer, TurboTax on there and everything. And so from there, bro, I went straight to it because I was so excited at that point to play with TurboTax. So pretty much I would say that next day, man, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, like I said, that next day, my mind was already rolling. Like, all right, who can I call? Who can I see who I can get as clients?
Okay, so did you go create an LLC then, right? The L&B Tax Service, or was it another name before that?
No, it was L&B Tax Service because one of the reasons why I named it L&B because I didn't want my probation officer. So I put her initial. It was Lori and Brian.
Okay.
And I put her initial first because I didn't want my probation officer to think that, you know, this was my business or nothing. Because at that time, the probation officers, the halfway house, everybody get a piece of your money. And if you have your own business, again, they can believe that you can hide, you can discount, you know, how much you're showing that you want to pay because you have to pay them 10% of your money. So I put her stuff first. And I didn't do an LLC because at that time, I wasn't sure about an LLC. My date that goes back, though, was, I think my LLC shows 2001.
Okay. You start just calling people, you start doing your own marketing and letting people know, man, I know how to do taxes. I'll do your taxes for a certain amount, how did you start getting your clients?
Well, that was basically it. Word of mouth. I use my hot market, people that I know that know I was doing it. And the one thing about it is, though, that's what I tell young people, your character is so, man, if you got good character, brother, you ain't gonna really want for nothing. So because the thing about it was so many people that knew me as a good character, they find an excuse for me. Oh man, it was just a mistake. Oh man, that system is so messed up. Well, I'm gonna send you my tax papers. So a lot of people never really looked at my situation. They say, well, I know Brian is a go-getter. If he's doing this, then I'll send you my paper. So I went to my Walmart and hit the people I know. But then while working at Subway, I'm passing out cards. I'm talking to people, man. And like, well, I got a tax business I do after this. Here's my card because I had cards printed up. So I was just getting clients out of just word of mouth, man.
Okay. So what day and what year did you physically move into a building? And was that your first office over there in Mableton on what's that?
Publix?
Yes.
No, that actually was my fourth office in Mableton.
Oh wow.
So basically what the first office was 2 years after I started in the bedroom, I built the office on the back of the house. And so everybody, if you talk to everybody who's been coming to me for 20 years or so, they're going to say, oh, I've been with you since the beginning. I remember when you had the office on the back of your house. Yeah, they all know that, But so I moved that. So I stayed in that office probably about 7 years. But within that time frame, I had opened up the College Park office.
Now, wait a minute. Wasn't that kind of illegal doing taxes in the back of your house like that? Because that was like in a community, like you didn't have a business structure.
So are you the zoning police? Are you the zoning police or something?
I'm just trying to say, when all the cars were pulling up, coming back, they probably thought it was something else going on.
Well, at least if I say yeah, okay, it's 20-something years ago, so I don't care. It might have been. I didn't have a zoning permit for that, So it might have been a little illegal,
right? But nobody thought about that. You're doing taxes.
Yeah.
You ain't selling crack, so everything was good.
But it was very professional.
Right.
And my whole basement, my basement was decked out. You know, I had a pool table, pinball machine, air hockey, basketball. So when you came and you waiting, you had a whole arcade down there to play with. You know,
you should have called it back of the house taxes.
Yeah. But see, but this is how I tell people, like, because I knew perception back then. So what I would do, Tony, I would tell you when people say, well, where are you located? How do I get there? So when you call and I'll give you directions all the way and never tell you it's a home, because I knew people perception behind having a home-based building.
Right.
I knew how they, especially with something, when you're talking about my money.
Right.
Then you don't have a storefront. So I would lead you all the way in the subdivision. They would be on the phone, be like, well, I'm in the subdivision. I said, yeah, that third house on the right. I said, you'll see a F-150 in that parking lot. They were like, oh, okay. I thought it was, you here now?
Yeah, exactly. You didn't have no sign in the driveway, did you?
No, I didn't have no sign or anything.
The F1 was the sign.
Yeah, and the way I won people over is because once you got there and you saw the knowledge I had and you saw I knew what I was talking about, then you didn't trip on it. You know, but again,
there you go. Blow the horn for him again. How long did you have the signage on the back of the truck? Because when people, they can see that. I saw that when you did the gym. Was that on the back of it?
Yeah, it was on the, well, actually at that time I had the Explorer and I had magnets. Okay. I had the magnets on the side of the Explorer, but it never had the address.
Okay.
So it always had the phone number and the website. So even people in my subdivision didn't necessarily know until I put flyers in the mailboxes and told people, you know, where I'm a resident of the subdivision. And I did get a few clients like that. But for the most part, though, man, like I said, it was, you know, most people really didn't trip on it because I've always been referral based. Because the one thing was I didn't want to put myself out there too much with my background in the beginning. So I relied on referrals. So most of the time when people told somebody, they didn't care as much, you know, because if somebody say he's good, then folks basically gonna take that at face value. They ain't gonna worry about if I'm sitting in the house, sitting on the side of the road, you know. And so I stayed in the house for about 7 years, and then I opened up a location on Mapleton Parkway, right by that. You know where Popeye's at on Mapleton Parkway?
Up by 285 or
no? Well, no, it's on Mapleton Parkway. There's a Popeyes over there.
Well, so it's further down, like cross. It's further down.
Factory shows and
yeah. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So in that area, so I opened up in that plaza over there. Then I eventually moved after about 4 or 5 years to Mapleton Parkway. Veterans Memorial in this little plaza.
I remember that. I forgot about that one. That's the one I came to.
Oh, I remember you. Yeah, I remember you coming to the one on Veterans Memorial.
Yeah.
By the because you came in one day. I came
in with my box of receipts. You said,
I'm proud to tell you. I said I don't do receipts. I do results.
I remember that. What do you think? You said, what do you think? I'm gonna sit on the floor and break down your receipts? That's what I do. I'm about to pay you. But yeah, I remember that. And then
you came to that office, and then I moved to the one by the Publix.
Yes.
When that one started getting super ghetto-fied, and they started having used cars out there. And the guy started having a sidewalk sale at a flea market he opened up. I was like, oh yeah, it's time to go.
Because I had sent somebody over there. They said, no, he ain't over there. So, but what made you move out the house? Because you were doing well there for 7 years. What?
Yeah, because I outgrew it for one. And then secondly, I think my ex-wife was she was going to support me to the end regardless. But I think deep down, she didn't like all the people coming through.
Coming to the house.
I had a back entrance. But a lot of times when you walk in the front door, the stairs to downstairs was right there. So nobody ever came through the house per se. But I don't think she really, really liked that. So eventually, once we outgrew it, once we started having, 8, 9, 10 people sitting in the rec area, and you know, they would entertain themselves, but then at that point, I knew it was time. It was time to move.
Wow. So I'm always talking to people about having some kind of business, whether it's a home-based business, because I've been doing that for 20 some years. And I tell people all the time, make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.